Okay, so welcome back officially, Elaine, to another Art of Letting Go live session. Going to have a look at our daily quote for today. And that'll lead us nicely into today's lesson. I think let's also look at the insert on what is the Holy Spirit, and that should do us. We've only got about 40 minutes, so
Yeah.
let's jump in, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. You can read the quote.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh, yeah, what's going on? Go back there. Can you see that?
Yeah. Just pinch it out. Do you want me to read that?
Yeah, you can read that. I can make it a bit bigger if you like.
Yes, please.
150%. There we go. It's from Eckhart Tolle.
Almost every ego contains at least an element of what we might call victim identity. Some people have such a strong victim image of themselves that it becomes the central core of their ego. Resentment and grievances form an essential part of their sense of self. Even if your grievances are completely justified, you have constructed an identity for yourself that is much like a prison whose bars are made of thought forms. See what you are doing to yourself, or rather, what your mind is doing to you. Feel the emotional attachment you have to your victim story and become aware of the compulsion to think or talk about it. Be there as the witnessing presence of your inner state. You don't have to do anything. With awareness comes transformation and freedom. Eckhart Tolle.
It's pointing out the folly of holding grievances and resenting anyone or anything, because doing this puts you in a mental prison of victimhood and the obsessive compulsive patterns of thought and behavior that your ego, which is just your belief in separation, uses to justify its identity as a victim. And so you got to notice just how tempting it is to play the victim in this world.
Mm.
We're
Yes.
all tempted to hold grievances against anyone or anything, and that can even be the weather. You know, I've noticed in the
Normally
UK.
people though, isn't it? It's normally, it's normally
Normally
people.
people, yeah, but people go, oh, it just isn't the weather terrible? And then people go on about the weather for 5 minutes.
Yes, true.
That's a
Yeah.
grievance against the weather. You just had a bad weather, so-called bad weather. It's a storm. Okay, well, it's just raining. You know, the fact of the matter is it's raining or it's windy or it's snowing, and that's not bad or good. It just is. It just is what
Yeah.
it is. You know, it's only a perception that it's bad. Because our experience of it then translates it, interprets it as bad. Oh, well, that's bad because I can't go out and have a walk, or it's too cold for me, or it means that the internet's down, so I can't work, and all of that is just our perception. So it's about grievances are not just people, but it's a grievance against life.
Mm.
Whenever you resist life and you say, I don't want this to happen, what are you saying? That I'm having a grievance against that. That's what a grievance is. I'm resisting it. Well, this shouldn't be the way it is. That's a grievance.
Again, it depends on the severity, because obviously in Spain there's been a lot of floods and they've lost their homes and people have died, and so this is a little bit
But
more difficult
but
to give, isn't it?
More, yeah, sure. Very easy to hold a grievance. You go, well, I'm so unfairly treated by life, and everything was going fine, and then suddenly why me? Why am I one of the unlucky ones whose house got flooded, and now I've lost my house, and maybe I didn't have a proper insurance, so now I'm financially ruined, and then you tell yourself a story
Hmm.
about the whole situation, but that's just a grievance against reality. If you really dropped all your grievances, you'd say, okay, well, it is what it is on the level form. That's what's happening, but I don't need to be upset about it. I can just perceive it in a clear, calm, peaceful way, and then be guided to, okay, well, I don't have a home, so where do I go now? And in that openness, you open yourself to miracles. Anything could happen. You could then have the most phenomenal experiences. Being liberated from your home could be the start of your spiritual awakening, you see,
Mm-hmm.
if you allow it to be. From the ego's perspective, it's just bad and it's terrible and there's no good in it. And then it just keeps telling itself that story. But actually, those people who've experienced that have the opportunity to spiritually awaken through the experience if they take it, which is what it's really for. So what I've included here is a couple of processes, the two-step letting go process, which let's click on that.
All right, so
Sorry, wrong one. Didn't want the audio. I wanted so this really gets to the core of what letting go is about. Right? There's two aspects to this. It's just becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions, number one, bringing them to mind, noticing the thoughts, the emotions, um, and and then number two is deciding to let go of what's unpleasant, of pain. And that really is the essence of any letting go technique. There's a 10-step process which gets more subtle and nuanced, but essentially the 10-step is just an expansion of the two-step, where somebody says, become aware, number one, because if you're not aware of thoughts and emotions, you can't let them go, can you? There has to be some awareness, able to go, okay, I'm aware that I'm upset. I'm aware of that energy and I'm aware that it's unpleasant. And because I'm aware of it, it means I'm not it. So awareness means you're not totally identified with it. See? It's the first stage in letting it go. Because if I'm aware of it, then I can't be it. Because what's aware of it must be separate from what it's aware of. Do you get it? And then number two is a decision. This is where the course comes in and says you must actively choose. You must make a choice to let this go. Some teachers say awareness is enough. Just be aware of it and it'll dissolve automatically. The course says no, you must make a choice. Awareness is the start, but then there's a process from that awareness of a decision to let it go. And then the metaphysics of the course come in. So I'm letting this go because I understand that this isn't real, that what I'm doing is hallucinating it. This is an illusion. And I don't want this painful negative feeling to cloud my awareness anymore. I want just pure awareness and the peace and the love and the joy that come from that. So I decide to let all this go. And then there's a process of releasing it, take you through some breathing, let it go, release, and allow yourself a few moments to enjoy this, peaceful sense of relief and freedom. Now, this process is incorporated into every meditation and every breath break that I send you. So it's a foundation stone, and you can use the process on its own. But if you just do a lesson with a breath break, for instance, then you're going to be doing this two-step process as part of that 3-4 minute recording. It's the foundation of all the letting go processes that I give you. So maybe we'll go through it as part of the lesson today. Let's Let's have a look at the lesson, shall we? So first of all, any questions on this, Elaine?
No, that's clear.
Two-step process is just saying, right, this is fundamental. This is the fundamental, the basics of letting go. You don't get more basic than this, right? It's stripping it down to its bare bones essential and saying these are the 2 steps that you must do to let anything go and to free your mind. You can't do number 2 before number 1 because you can't decide to let go of pain if you haven't become aware of it first. Right, so number 2 relies on number 1. But you can't do number 2 unless you've done number 1. You must become aware first of all. So awareness is key to start the process. And that's why most of these spiritual practices focus on building that awareness. Okay, start cultivating this higher awareness of your thoughts and emotions. A lot of them don't go far enough in the Course's view by educating you on the difference between truth and illusion. That's why the Course spends so much time teaching us, okay, well, this is what the ego is, and this is illusion, and this is what the Holy Spirit is, and the Christ self, and this is truth. And now you can distinguish between them because that discernment allows you to let go of the pain that you feel and really collapse it into the nothingness that it is. Okay. So, no other questions on that?
No, that's good.
So let's go into the lesson, shall we? So this one is, not sure why that's not working. Okay, never mind. Not happening. So this is lesson 283. You want to read that in the original and alternative. Key idea.
My true identity abides in you. My true identity lies in perfect love.
Yeah, very, very simple statement of the truth. My true identity is perfect love. Right? I am love. We get to that essence in the Art of Letting Go course, don't we? Everyone eventually realizes, well, I am love. That's the simplest way of saying it. This is a slightly longer way of saying it. My true identity lies in perfect love. Well, simplify that. I am love.
Yeah.
Full stop. Period. End of. There's nothing else.
No more concepts yet.
No
Keep
more
it simple.
concepts. I am that awareness we call love. And the word love just points you to an awareness that's beyond all concepts. Perfect love is it's still a concept because it's framed in words, but it points you to an awareness that's beyond concepts. That's the idea of the pointers. A good pointer points you beyond conceptual knowledge to the truth. Okay, so let's read the prayer. It's the first paragraph. I'll read the original and you read the alternative. So, Father, I made an image of myself, and it is this I call the Son of God.
My source, I made an image of myself, and I call this the extension of perfect love.
Yet is creation as it always was, for your creation is unchangeable.
Yet this extension is as it always was, for your being from which it extends is unchangeable.
Let me not worship idols.
I will not value false beliefs.
So worship is to give worthship, to value. That's where worship comes from. And
Yeah.
idol is just the false belief. I am he my Father loves.
I am what my source loves.
My holiness remains the light of heaven and the love of God.
My true awareness remains the same as the state of pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Is not what is beloved of you secure?
Is not what is beloved of you safe?
Is not the light of heaven infinite?
Is not the state of pure formless awareness infinite?
Is not your Son my true identity when you created everything that is?
Is not your extension my true identity when you extend everything that is? And from the top, my source, I made an image of myself, and I call this the extension of perfect love. Yet this extension is as it always was, for your being from which it extends is unchangeable. I will not value false beliefs. I am what my source loves. My true awareness remains the same as the state of pure formless awareness and perfect love. Is not what is beloved of you safe? Is not the state of pure formless awareness infinite? Is not your extension my true identity when you extend everything that is? Let's just say the source is aware that we've made an image of ourselves. But, you know, this source is where we are. And it's just asking us not to value these false beliefs and find our true awareness, which is in this state of pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Yeah. So don't value any false idols. And this comes down to the self-concept. You value a false self, then you're going to value various false beliefs in the world because this false self is going to direct you to try and believe in things in its world. So all the idols come from a false self-concept. This is the course's key understanding. We'll collapse the self-concept by collapsing your belief in these false idols. So you let go of your belief in the idols, and then the self-concept must also collapse. And that is the way to undo the false self-concept. Just let go of all of its false beliefs, because that's all it's made up of. The series of false beliefs makes up your self-concept, which then gets you back to zero, to a state of, well, there are no limits. There are no borders or boundaries or limits in pure awareness. In this God, Father, heaven, truth, oneness, pure formless awareness of perfect love, source, knowledge, revelation, spirit, reality, there are no limits. You've transcended all of it. You're completely free in this awareness. He's saying, okay, but there's a way to get there. You need to identify with your true self by letting go of your false perceptions, of your false beliefs. You let go of all of your false beliefs about the people, circumstances, events, places, things, and so on in this world, then you disidentify yourself from the self that believes all these things. And in the process of changing your perception, you identify with your true self. So forgiveness is the practice of letting go of a false self and accepting a true one back into your mind, which will ultimately lead you back to pure awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love that's beyond all self-concept. Okay, does that make sense?
It does.
It's very, very simple, but just not easy to do because we've really got to
Yeah.
confront all of these false beliefs.
Yes.
And every single belief. He says at some point, this course requires that you question every single value you've ever held. And that's pretty radical stuff. Right. Everything I believe is now up, up for question. This is in question.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Very scary. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
for my
scary.
ego. That's like, whoa, hang on. I thought I kind of had a handle on reality, that my model of the world was correct to an extent. Okay, maybe I'm not 100%, but I'm kind of 80%, 90% there. This is saying, no, 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 no. Actually, you're 100% wrong.
I know. Worked all our lives to study, get our certificates, and do the so-called correct thing, and yet no,
You just got it
all false, all false.
all false. Yeah. And that's pretty radical stuff. That's not easy for it's
No,
important for the ego to accept. You know, people struggle with the course because ego is trying to get
so
a hold
hard,
of it and trying to
very
understand
hardwired.
it and frame it. And of course the point is the ego can't
No,
because it's
it's
trying
so
to destroy the
hardwired.
ego.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, they did say that, yeah, scientists have noticed that if you do a 10-day Vipassana course, that can radically change your hardwiring of the brain. That can really help to undo that hardwiring.
And that's why we do spiritual practices. You know, these
Yeah.
false beliefs are so entrenched that it needs something often quite extreme. Like, okay, you're going to do 10 days of
Well,
meditation,
yeah,
12 hours a day.
which can be very brutal for some people. Painful, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely pushes your buttons to a level. There's some people who can't hack it and they leave after a couple of days.
Mm.
Others get, really tested and challenged. Yeah, I found it not so bad. I mean, I'd done a lot of meditation. I'd done a lot of
Right.
spiritual.
You'd already had a little bit of sort of groundwork.
Wasn't, yeah, but still, there were times when I was like, "Wow, this is physically intense. You're just sitting for hours and hours and hours. You just get really
Yeah.
physically comfortable." And in the end, funnily enough, to really get the lesson, I had to let go of all of that. There was
Mm.
a dropping of the construct of Vipassana even. And I just went, okay, what does it feel like intuitively? I'm just going to lie down on my bed because my body is tired and sore, and the practice is just like, okay, enough. It was day
Yeah.
9,
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just relax. Let go of the construct, let go of the discipline, let go of the striving, and
Yeah.
that's when I got it.
Right.
Like which is exactly what the Buddha did.
Oh, yes. Yes.
He did all that striving and various techniques, and then he just intuitively realized this isn't the way. I'm only going to get it when I really let go of all this.
Mm-hmm.
But he'd had to go through all of that striving and all the practice to get to that realization. So it
Mm.
wasn't wasted. So, well, what he could have just shortcut it and not done 7 years of all these intense spiritual practices and nearly killed himself doing them. He could have
Yeah.
just got it, on day one. Well, no, because it was a journey. He had to go through all of that to prepare him for that moment of like, oh, like I get it. Boom, it just drops.
Like
You
an
know,
ego death.
and that's when enlightenment comes. Okay, I get it. Actually, all the striving and straining is not going to get me anyway. I'm never gonna really understand who I am if I keep that up. I've got to drop it all and just let go of trying because you can't really try to be what you are. If you are what you are,
Mm.
then you just have to accept it in the end.
Yeah.
And that's the paradox we talked about. So it seems like we need to strive and try, and we've got all these spiritual practices, and those are necessary to a point until you realize that they're unnecessary.
Mm.
That's the resolution. You've
Paradox.
got
Yeah.
to do it and do it until I go, oh, actually, I don't need to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's why the Zen saying is, well, enlightenment is a joke. Because you do it and you do it and you strive and you do all this stuff. And then when you get it, you go, oh, that was really funny. I
Yeah.
had it. I just didn't realize.
Actually, yeah, and some people do laugh actually when they actually
Yeah.
get the moment of
It's
realizing.
hilariously funny. It's like I had it all along and I just didn't realize it. And I was, desperately striving for what I already had.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I had one occasion, I remember, it's an analogy on the physical level. I was looking for some car keys, I kid you not. And I
Mm.
looked for about 20 minutes, maybe even longer, for these car keys. And guess what?
Mm. They were in front of your very eyes.
They were in my hand.
Yeah.
It was a key. Sorry, it wasn't a key. And then another experience with car keys where the car keys were there all along and I just
Mm.
overlooked them. It's like I've gone
Mm.
looking and looking and I just didn't look at what was right in front of me. I
Yeah.
assumed that those weren't the keys.
Mm. Yeah.
These
Right.
experiences really show us. His point is like, hang on, you're just blind. Wake up. It's right there. It's in front of you. It's always
Mm.
been there. You've blinkered yourself so much that you can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are good, were actually good. They were frustrating experiences. They're good experience because I went like, how did you do that? That's like so blinkered and limited. And that's part of the awakening is to realize, well, look at how blinkered and limited I am. Look at all these false beliefs I have. Okay, I'm open to transcending them. I'm open to something else. Because clearly these, aren't really working for me. They just bring me a lot of frustration.
Mm.
Okay, so that was the prayer. This is the second paragraph of this short lesson. So now are we one in shared identity with God our Father as our only source and everything created part of us.
Now I am one in shared identity with pure formless awareness of perfect love as my only source and everything extending from part of me.
From it, part of me. And so we offer blessing to all things, uniting lovingly with all the world, which our forgiveness has made one with us.
And so I offer blessings to everything and everyone, and unite lovingly with the whole world, which my letting go has made one with me. From the top. Now I am one in shared identity with pure formless awareness of perfect love as my only source and everything extending from it, part of me. And so I offer blessing to everything and everyone and unite lovingly with the whole world, which my letting go has made one with me. So it's just letting us know that we are now in this one shared identity of pure formless awareness, of perfect love. And we offer blessing to everything and everyone and unite lovingly with this whole world.
Because it's the same as us. If it's the same as us, then that's the only thing to do.
Yeah.
There's only one mind, there's only one self, there's only one awareness. So you're just blessing yourself all the time.
Despite the appearance, which can be quite,
Yeah.
yeah.
The appearance tells you totally the opposite many times.
Well, yeah,
What the world's designed to do.
very unpleasant, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Someone's now, getting upset with you, they're getting angry, they're getting aggressive, they're actively trying to harm you.
Mm-hmm.
All this seems to happen, but that's just a cover and a smokescreen over the underlying unity. That's all there. That's just the ego protesting against the unity of reality and saying, no, I don't want that. I want separation. I want differences instead of unity.
Mm.
Our job is to overlook that and see only the truth beyond the illusion. That's what the mind training is about. That's what letting go is about. Find the level of truth and not in the illusion. Go beyond the illusion. And you'll never reconcile those realities. You'll never reconcile a limited, fearful, guilty, angry, attacking, hurtful, painful reality that leads to suffering and death with an unlimited, infinite, eternal, peaceful, happy, joyful one. They are opposite realities. They don't reconcile. You need to choose which one do I choose to live in, and the self that you identify with is the ticket. Whichever self you identify with is gonna bring you the reality that it's either made up, if it's the false reality of the ego, or that it points to, that it leads you to, if it's true reality. So the higher self, the Christ, will lead you unfailingly to this infinite, eternal reality, which is only happy, if you allow it to. That's all it can do. The true self is this idea expressed in this paragraph that we are just one self. There's only one of us really here, so we bless everyone and everything because, well, really, it's just enlightened self-interest. I'm just blessing myself. This person, this object, this other animal, any sentient being is just really one and the same awareness. The one awareness appearing as many. So how can that one awareness be separate from me? If I have awareness, then I must be one with it. I must have the same awareness. This is the really irrefutable logic. We all have a source of awareness that must be the same. When you talked about Bayesian probability, well, if you look at this, the Bayesian probability that you'd assign to this is 100%. There must be something else. There must be one source of awareness. Because where did it come from then? Where did awareness or consciousness come from? Science can't really answer that question, can it?
Mm-hmm.
What preceded the Big Bang, where all matter and energy was created in a blinding flash? Where did that come from then? What preceded it? It points you to an ineffable awareness. We call it pure formless awareness of perfect love that simply is. And the logic of that is irrefutable. Well, there must be something. Because then where did awareness come from? The scientific position, hardcore science, says no, awareness didn't really exist. The Big Bang came into being. They can't explain how. And then over billions of years, sentient beings evolved from physical processes. And now consciousness is a product of your brain function. But that doesn't explain where fundamental awareness came from, does it?
Yeah.
At all. So big problem, which can only be resolved by going to this highest level, saying, well, there must be an awareness that's transcendent. And my job is to then merge with that, bring it in to my awareness. The Father and the Son must become one. The Son, being the awareness of things that's separated from this, must accept this awareness back into its awareness. That's the whole point of everything, of this world, of this universe, is for that merging to happen. That's what all the great spiritual teachings say. That's the perennial philosophy. That we are one awareness, and our job is only to become aware of that oneness. Again, we've forgotten it, but our job is to remember it, to remember the sonship, right? We bring all these seemingly fragmented bits of awareness that operate seemingly as separate awarenesses, separate selves down here in the red box. And through this process of at-one-ment or awakening, we bring them back to the one awareness. And all of those seemingly fragmented separate selves finally realize, oh, actually, hang on, we're the same awareness. There actually aren't really separate awarenesses. There's just one awareness, and we're all the same. We're all it. And when that happens, then the illusion collapses because it can only exist if there's apparently an illusion of separate selves that now need to run around in separate bodies in the physical universe of time and space, having all these experiences. Well, none of that really needs to exist in perfect oneness, does it? It collapses back into the one awareness. And so the illusion of time and space and all the things we've invented from our separate self just collapse, disappear. Gary Renard, call it the disappearance of the universe in his first book. All of this disappears, even the true self and the Christ disappears, and all that's left is this one awareness, which we call God, pure formless awareness of perfect love. And that's all we had to learn. To become one with that awareness is our function, is our purpose, is our meaning in this, the only meaning this world has, in truth. Because none of this means anything at all. The separate self and all of its pursuits means absolutely nothing at all. It's all illusion. Only transcending that and coming into the awareness of who you are means anything. Stated another way, forgiveness or letting go is your only function in this world. That's all you're here to do. Which makes your life very simple. You know, if you understand this, then you have one function that applies in all situations, all circumstances, no matter what's going on. And a lot can go on in this world, isn't it? I mean, just myriad people, places, events, things, circumstances, ups and downs, successes, failures, traumas. I mean, the ego's invented just so much, but yet you can perceive it all the same. There's one way of perceiving it correctly. Which will awaken you to your true identity, which this lesson tells us is just perfect love. So my true identity lies in perfect love. Okay? So this true self comes from perfect love. It's derived from perfect love, and it will lead us back to perfect love. The more we identify with the true self or identity, the more this perfect loving awareness will arise in our mind. And eventually, emerging just happens. You know, the Course describes as God takes the final step. It's really saying, well, you don't really need to do anything. It'll just happen when you're ready. You will merge back into this awareness. You'll become one with this awareness, and all concepts will disappear. The Christ, the true self, the need to perceive correctly, which is the Holy Spirit's function, it disappears because you don't need this world anymore. There's no perception anymore. There's no time. There's no perception. There's no need for learning. It all just disappears into the nothingness that it really is. Okay, so good session, Elaine. I think
It's very good, yeah. Getting down to the nuts and bolts.
Yeah. So short and sweet. Well, we did an hour and a half. So
Oh yes.
let's do the Holy Spirit. What is the Holy Spirit tomorrow? Because we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
And we'll look at some of the text from the Manual for Teachers as well. Okay, so are you okay tomorrow at can we do tomorrow afternoon?
It would have to be after 2:30 though, because I'm going up to Arona to a big rescue place. Because we've got to take this puppy that we've got that's been abandoned. It's staying at Lindsay, so we
2:30.
Yeah, that would be better. Yeah, because so around that time, because it's quite a long way away. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All
So
right. See you then.
Zoom. Yeah. Thanks very much. That was very inspiring.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll send that passage that I showed you to the group.
Oh yes, that's a good idea. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah,
it was
clever.
Yeah.
Okay. Namaste.
Namaste. See you tomorrow.